I love this quote. Benjamin Franklin once said to keep your eyes wide open before marriage and keep them half shut after.
Well,
everyone wants a happy marriage, but there are things you need to be talking about before you say I do. Robin Seville here from Bride Access, who of course talks about weddings all the time. I mean, that's your business. But now you're starting to realize that you need to talk about what that marriage actually means.
Yeah, why have a successful wedding day if the marriage isn't successful, right? And brides spend so much time, usually the bride spends so much time focusing on the success of the wedding, and the couple forgets about the success of the marriage. And there's many things that they need to be talking about before the wedding day comes and they start spending the rest of their lives together. The 5 major reasons for divorce are intimacy, money's first, intimacy, children, communication, and in-laws. Are they talking about those things before? Where are you going to spend the holidays? At Christmas, you're going to
that is a big question. I mean, if you don't talk about those things before, you say, where are you going to spend the holidays? Who's going to be the breadwinner? How many children do you want? When do you want them? All those things are reasons for divorce if you don't discuss them ahead of time.
Yeah, so often they're so in love, hormone driven, and yet they forget to talk about those key things. And there's signs that could tell the couple that maybe they need to cancel the wedding or at least postpone the wedding. Obviously, if there's any kind of physical abuse or mental abuse before the wedding day, that sounds obvious, but sometimes nothing happens.
Well, do people say
stop.
it will be better when I get married?
It'll be better.
Yeah, I'll fix it.
He's so stressed right now, and that's why he's talking to me that way. Well, those are a little bit more obvious, but some of the less obvious is a cake designer told us recently about she was sitting down with a bride and her fiance, and she was looking at pictures of cakes, and she said, "Oh, I really like that one," and he kept saying, "Oh no, you don't want that." If your opinion is being squashed by the other, that's probably a sign that maybe you should back off a little bit. Or if the wedding planning itself becomes more important than the success of the marriage, then that's a sign as well.
Well, maybe they should have marriage counseling before the wedding versus
absolutely.
after the wedding, and maybe sit down with a list of these things. Do you have them available on Bride Access?
Absolutely. We talk about them quite a bit. We have relationship advice tips every week on our TV show right here on ABC4. But our goal is not only to help them have that successful wedding, but more importantly, to have a successful marriage.
So in your business, and you specialize in making fantasies and dreams come true, and everybody's la la, happy, happy, do you see a lot of postponed or canceled weddings? And what happens to all those plans when you do that?
You know, we do see quite a bit of it. Our advertisers tell us quite a bit. We have X amount of weddings booked for July, and then August comes and they say 2 of those were postponed or canceled for whatever reason. But we do see that happening quite a bit. We just really want to encourage couples to be communicating about those 5 main points that we mentioned, because it will make a huge difference. And anybody that's been married for any certain amount of time can tell you that those 5 points are huge.
What about this one? It says, why do many men sometimes feel fooled when it comes to intimacy? What does that mean?
Should we talk about that?
Yeah, what does that mean?
You know, most guys will tell you that, you know what, before we got married, it's when we talked about intimacy, and if they're waiting to be intimate once they get married, they say, my wife, my fiance at the time, was telling me that she just looked forward to it just as much as I did. A month after the wedding, the guy's going, okay, what happened? What happened? She doesn't seem interested anymore. And often we kind of blame the woman for that. However, before they get married, quite often the guy is sending flowers, giving her notes, telling her how much he loves her, talking to her on the phone. The romance stops. So they both probably, that aspect of the marriage is probably important to both of them. But the way we approach it, or how we come from it, is a little bit different. So I'd say, guys, keep up
the romance.
Yeah, keep up the romance. Keep telling her how much you love her.
I'm sorry, those little things go such a long way for women.
They do.
They set the tone for the rest of the week, the day, I mean, all of it. You say, too, better to call off the wedding, though, and postpone it. Don't be afraid. I think so many times you think, I don't feel good about it, but everybody knows I have to go through with it.
The invitations have gone out. So much has been put into it. And the truth is when they get close to the wedding, if they postpone it or call it off, they probably will lose a sizable amount of money, because they've put money down on the reception location, on the flowers, on the food, on the photography, these different elements. And they're probably not going to get those deposits back. But ultimately, that doesn't matter. It's about the success and the health of the relationship. And if the relationship isn't going to be healthy and they're not going to be happy, be unhappy for a few days. Don't be unhappy for the rest of your life.
I think this is so important to talk about. I'm glad you brought it up. Bride Access, right here on ABC4 every Sunday morning at 9:30. You can also go to brideaccess.com for all the things you need for your wedding. We'll link you from our website too, abc4.com, and then click on Good Things Utah. But I love that you're not just focusing on the wedding, it's the entire
both.
marriage
It's
too.
both.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Robin.
Good
Thank
message.
you.
Thanks.
Thank
All
you.
right, it is Monday, and we have real deals coming up next. You don't want to miss them. We'll be right back.